Greetings, R. Frederick Little here with another episode of Christian News and Views. This is episode 282, and this is Wednesday. Well, we have a new article here. This one here is about immigration, and I'll start out by reading it here. The Department of Homeland Security on Wednesday formally announced a new immigration enforcement crackdown in New Orleans, the latest city led by Democrats to see a surge in Border Patrol agents tasked with carrying out President Trump's mass deportation campaign. DHS said it dubbed the operation Catahoula Crunch. I don't know if I pronounced that right, confirming plans reported by CBS News in mid-November. At the time, CBS News reported that Border Patrol was planning to dispatch roughly 200 agents to New Orleans to oversee operations there targeting people suspected of being in the U.S. illegally. Internal agency documents showed officials requested armored vehicles for the operation. In a statement Wednesday, DHS spokeswoman Tricia McLaughlin said the administration targeted New Orleans because of local policies that limit cooperation between local law enforcement officials and federal immigration authorities. Catahoula Crunch targets include violent criminals who were released after arrest for home invasion, armed robbery, grand theft auto, and rape. Under President Trump and Secretary Noem, we are restoring law and order for the American people. The Border Patrol crackdown in New Orleans is the most recent immigration enforcement operation launched by the second Trump administration in a Democratic-controlled city. The administration has deployed hundreds of Border Patrol agents to cities far away from a U.S. border, including Los Angeles, Chicago, Charlotte, and Charlotte, North Carolina. Border Patrol's operations, led by controversial Commander Gregory Bovino, have been met with harsh criticism from some local residents and elected officials who have accused Bovino and his agents of inflaming tensions through aggressive arrests and heavy-handed tactics against protesters and other civilians. A federal judge in the Chicago area ruled that Border Patrol's use of force had been excessive. But Bovino has also been praised by supporters as a no-nonsense enforcer of Mr. Trump's mass deportation campaign. He has defended his agents' actions, including the use of force against protesters, as justified given violent acts by some individuals. Now, that article went on to claim that not all were criminals. Really, what they're talking about is violent criminals. But I still, in either way, I respond with, what? Really? I was always taught that if you break a law, you are a criminal. By definition, then, if you are in the United States illegally, then you are a criminal, violent or otherwise. This splitting hairs about whether they are criminals or not would be laughable, except for those judges who actually believe such nonsense. If you steal from someone, at least part of your responsibility is to repay. If you hurt someone by assaulting them, then you are liable for the medical costs and more. Logic says if you are in the United States illegally, then you must be deported. Personally, I am delighted that the government has taken a tough stand. Should they exercise a little mercy? Well, yes, but to whom and to what measure is not up to the press, but to the government. I know that some people have been swept up in the whole matter, and it is frustrating to bring it to a good conclusion. But the problem isn't ICE. The problem was that the Biden administration, by turning a blind eye to the mass influx of illegals, allowed this situation to happen. Further this, let's get to narrow it down to the idea of violent and nonviolent. Who determines that? Is it the press? The press have the right to report, right, and the responsibility to report, but they don't have the authority to declare somebody innocent. They can say they don't know of any facts to support that, but they can't claim that that person is nonviolent. They don't have the facts. And the facts may not come out until the court case is launched or taking place. So when people get arrested, the first being thing is, as I see it, is that they are tabbed as illegals, which automatically makes them a criminal. So they're being arrested. And I say, I understand that some people are being tabbed and it turns out that they're not illegal. There's a system in place, needs to be followed. It's frustrating. I know it is, and painful. I know it is. But that's not the fault of ICE. That's not the fault of the Trump administration. That all falls back on the Biden administration. When you turn a blind eye, it'd be like me. Say I hurt myself on a job or something badly. Maybe I start bleeding. I couldn't get it stopped. Well, that's okay. I'll take care of it later. I'll just wrap it up right now and take care of it later. Now, if it's a minor scratch or thing like that, I have no problem with that. But sometimes if you allow something to happen and you turn a blind eye to it, it can later on get infected and be a festering sore or worse. And so you have to use some common sense when you do that. Fortunately, whenever I've been injured on the job, they've been minor. And so I haven't had to be tested on that one. But the thing is this, leave it up to the court system. I know it's slow and drag, but again, it's because of the sheer numbers involved. And they want the Trump administration to jump through hoops to try to make them vet these people before they even arrest them. Well, once you start that, then they'll cover the real criminals who will cover their tracks. So you have to go out, get them, and then put them in the system, and let the police, let the those who are charged with investigating them do it. This brings up another little question. Now, I'm a strong supporter of the police department. But if there are police departments around this country who are refusing to cooperate with the federal government and ICE, then they're not doing their job. They'll argue, oh, yes, we are. We're protecting our people. Are you really? You are allowing people who you don't have the authority either to judge the innocence or guilt of an individual. Your job is to go out, arrest, investigate, arrest, do some more investigating. If you have a case, then you take it to the DA, who then puts it in the court system, charges them and puts them in the court system. But the police have the job that even if they think a person is innocent, they still have to arrest that person if all the evidence points towards them. Now, there may be somebody within the department that says, I'm going to prove that they're innocent. Well, that might happen. But the thing is, there's the system in place. It's not a perfect system. And these sheer numbers probably overwhelms it a bit. So let's put the blame where the blame belongs. It's on not just the Biden administration, it's on the whole liberal establishment. Because it was liberal mayors who protected these people in the first place. It was liberal news media who covered it up, who they were and where they were and so forth. And it's the liberal media who doesn't check their facts, or they end up on the cutting floor, whatever. It's the liberals throughout the government and in private practice who have turned a blind eye to the problem. The whole border thing itself, Biden said they just could not control the border. Within, I don't remember how many days, but it wasn't very long after Trump took office that all of a sudden that border invasion dried right up. They didn't need tanks. They didn't need the army. They didn't need any of that to go in and shut it down. They just needed to enforce the laws. And by the way, so far, the courts have been supporting that. There's some judges on the lower level, even a federal judge, I was in that article, who calls things excessive and so forth. But will that view hold up going forward? I have my questions about that. The thing is this, that but the Trump administration has the job of cleaning all this mess up. And there's going to be some people injured. It's just like the laying people off during the shutdown. That was the Schumer shutdown. It was pointless. It accomplished nothing. In fact, they, as far as I can tell, they didn't gain anything at all, except a pretend situation that something's going to come up to vote. It's going to be standalone, which means it has no chance. So, for just a showman, just to show and prove to others that he was on their side, Schumer caused this shutdown, and people lost their jobs. They lost pay. Many are getting jobs back and even getting back pay, but there are others who aren't. And maybe they might be innocent too of any harm doing that. They took a job that was offered to them. So I don't blame them one bit. The problem was that the government opened up their payroll, which is our tax money, to anybody and everybody. And they created a humongous government that could barely move. And now the Trump administration is trimming fat here and there and trying to get things slimmed down. And when you do that, people are going to be hurt. But again, it's not the Trump administration. They're having to do the job, the dirty job of cleaning up a mess left by the previous administration. That's my opinion. If you have any other thoughts, hey, or even if you agree with me, feel free to say so in the comments. All I ask is that you keep it clean and you keep it not clean of words, but your attitude, everything else. Be willing to discuss things. So that's it for today. By the way, there is a sale going on. My sponsors for this is TNR Independent Books. TNR Independent Books is a Christian publisher, as well as having a bookstore. In the bookstore, we just got done with the 5-day Black Friday Thanksgiving sale, which actually ended up being 6 days because I extended it to Tuesday. Well, today is the first day of a new sale, and this one is called the Christmas sale, and that's at 20%. Not the same as 50, but it's still a good discount, and it's still a bargain. And by the way, this is my announcement, TNR Independent Books has hired the Grinch. And the Grinch is going to be pointing out different deals. He loves a great deal. I hope you enjoy those posts by him. And by the way, you have a great time, a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.